Hi everybody, here's Krystian from Team Orcast. I'm here with another short card review of already established cards, not new cards, but cards that everybody's playing. This time around, I'm talking about a card that nobody's playing, and I think everybody should, which is, of course, Successful Demonstration. Ah yeah. So this is a particular card that I'm very fond of, and we've been joking about this quite a little bit, and I've been joking about this online in some discussion forums. But I really enjoy a Successful Demonstration, and there are quite a lot of Successful Demonstration alumni out there who also understand my enjoyment of this card. For some reason, nobody considers Successful Demonstration these days when talking about corporation transactions, money-making operations. And I think this should change. I think we should take a closer look at Successful Demonstration because it is the best. And you get Successful Demonstration from the excellent Creation and Control box, which I think is one of the best big box expansions that came out so far. And if you are new to Netrunner, you should certainly check out Creation Control, Successful Demonstration being certainly one of the reasons why. So let's talk about the general card rules. So what do we see here? So we see an operation for 2 credits called Successful Demonstration. It says a play only if the runner made an unsuccessful run during his or her last turn. And the effect is gain 7. It costs 2, you gain 7, so you get 5 from this. And of course, again, you have to play it only if the runner made an unsuccessful run. So they have to have been stopped by an ice, or they have to have like jacked out or something like this in order for you to be able to play this next turn. I probably should also mention that this card is just 1 influence. So although this is a Haas Bayreuth card, it is actually highly splashable in other factions, which we're gonna come to in a second here. So talking about the fluff a little bit here, I really like this a lot because you see kind of like this corporation woman here standing on a stage and doing like a presentation, and there's like, you know, rising upwards, so everything is looking awesome, and all the people in the audience are cheering, giving thumbs up. This guy giving a thumbs up is the best. Also clapping and the standing ovation, everything, kind of like a Steve Jobs Apple conference moment. Love this a lot. It's kind of very rare that you see such emotional cards from the corporation. You kind of rarely see corporations being so emotional about things that are happening. So that's why I really enjoyed this. And I really share this emotion every time I play this card. A bit of a menacing flavor text here. Success is defined by the safety of data, not by the safety of potential intruders. Wow, aggressive speech from Haas Bayreuth here. All right, so talking about the card, we should maybe compare Successful Demonstration to other transactions, other operations that give you money. And of course, an obvious comparison here is Hedge Fund, which I think is a card that everybody plays, a nice card from a core set, which gives you 9 credits, but it costs you 5. There is no special condition as in Successful Demonstration. But you get 4 credits out of this, whereas with Successful Demonstration you get 5 credits out of this, so more credits from Successful Demonstration. And with Hedge Fund you need to be at 5 credits already, whereas the Successful Demonstration, it's fine to be at 2 credits to play this. And we already know, if you look at other cards, for example Restructure here, is that generally it's easy to make money if you already have money, but if you don't have any money, it's very difficult to make money. So in this case, Successful Demonstration is actually going quite against the grain. You can make a lot of money without being rich. Now I brought Restructure here to this because, as with Successful Demonstration, Restructure also gives you 5 credits, but you have to be at 10 credits in order to play this. So yeah, you have to be filthy rich, and then you can get a little bit richer, which at this point it seems like those 5 credits obviously help, but it's not like they're saving your bacon right there. Whereas Successful Demonstration certainly is a card that does save you bacon. Now, a lot of people don't like to play Successful Demonstration because it says, you know, you can only play it if you stopped the run of a runner. So people are very paranoid about this. Oh man, I want to get money, but what if the runner is not running? Or what if they're, you know, all the time having successful runs? You know, I will be stuck with this card and lose while waiting for an opportunity to arise for the Successful Demonstration. And I think that's a kind of like a valid counter argument against successful demonstration. It's certainly a card that you can't just play whenever you want to. You kind of have to set up everything. But one of the reasons why I think the successful demonstration is still good is that the condition that triggers successful demonstration is something that you want to have anyway in most corporations. It's the same reason why I think something like a console like Desperado is a good console, because it gives you credits whenever you make successful runs as a runner. So this is basically, I think, a little bit of a counterpart in that it gives the corporation credits if they do their job, if they stop the runner. And it turns out that in practice, successful demonstration is much more valuable than just the credits you gain from this. Successful demonstration turns out to be the card that allows you to be much more aggressive about stopping the runner. The text on the card could just as well say, go ahead, res that expensive ice. It will be fine. So for example, let us take something like a toll booth, very expensive ice, most likely to end the run if the runner face checks right into this. Costs 8 credits though. So let us say we have this on the board, and let's say we have the 8 credits, right? So let us see what happens if we have restructure on hand. The runner runs on your server there, and you go like, man, I have 8 credits. If I don't res that ice, I will be able to play restructure next turn. So I give the runner access, maybe they will steal an agenda just for me to be able to play restructure. Not the best situation. Now, the same situation with successful demonstration on hand is easy as pie. You res the toll booth, you go to 0 credits eventually, runner gets stopped, loses all the credits, loses the opportunity, everything is peachy. Next turn you click for 2 credits, play successful demonstration. Because you had successful demonstration on hand, you were able to be much more aggressive with the way you spent money. You were able to invest money in something like a toll booth, or situations that I found myself quite often in is to res something like Caduceus, and it has like a trace that ends the run. And it's just trace 2. So a lot of runners will be just wait for the trace 2 to fire, and the corporation would be like, man, I already spent the credits for the Caduceus. I'm gonna just keep it at trace 2, and then the runner can like get through this ice without any breaker for just 2 credits, and with Andromeda just 1 credit. With successful demonstration on hand, you can be like, all right, I'm gonna pump like 5 credits into this. And runner says like, whoa, that's not worth for just 1 access, right? But then of course you can do the successful demonstration, because you just need 1 unsuccessful run. You don't need every run to be unsuccessful. And of course you can be like, all right, okay. So what happens if the runner doesn't run? Then I will be stuck with this card on my hand. To which I say, if the runner doesn't run, then you're doing a good job as a corporation. Then you're doing well. Then you can, establish your fortresses. You can score your agendas and everything. It's going to be awesome. So yeah. All right. So one of the things I wanted to also point out is that successful demonstration has only 1 influence, and that's really odd because I only seen successful demonstration being used in Haas Bioroid, which, I mean, it's a good identity for this. Maybe not the most obvious one, because well, the idea is that you stop runs with Bioroids. Bioroids are very expensive to break. And it is, you create those glacier type of deck where it's a lot of ice and stuff like that. So yeah, for those kinds of decks, successful demonstration is certainly a good choice, although not an obvious one. It doesn't cost Hasbiro the 1 influence, so that's nice. But I think you can put successful demonstration in other decks as well. And I would love to see it being used in other decks. Here are some suggestions which I think would really work well with successful demonstration. One obvious choices here is Wayland, the core set Wayland, which gets you an additional credit whenever you play a transaction. And the cool thing is, of course, that this is a transaction. So you will get 8 credits from this. So yeah, you pay 2, so it's going to be 6 credits from a successful demonstration. That's pretty dope, considering that Wayland is a corporation that is good with like very, heavy end the run barriers and stuff like that. This might be also a very, very good corporation to play successful demonstration in. Of course, one of the reasons why it's still not used quite often is that in Wayland, usually people do the C-source score scorch thing. And the thing is, like with C-Source, it's the runner has to have made a successful run last turn. So it kind of goes against successful demonstration. Those two cards are basically not compatible with each other. And of course, with C-Source, you kind of want to have the money first, like you have to amass the money. So if the runner, the good strategy against the runner is, for the runner is just to not run, because they could be C-Source, until they have like a ton of money. And again, if the runner is not running, then successful demonstration is not getting you any money, the kind of money that you need in order to play C-Source. So yeah, if you're going with Wayland and you want to have the C-Source Scorch play, successful demonstration might not be the best choice. But I think, especially with the new box that came out at the point where we're recording this video, Order and Chaos, or Chaos and Order, just came out with a lot of new Wayland cards that I think will make like a Glacier type of Wayland more viable. So successful demonstration, I think, might be a good addition into a kind of Glacier type Wayland. Another identity which I think goes really well with successful demonstration is a Jinteki replicating perfection. Is kind of like this complicated identities where the runner has to have made a run on a central server before they make a run on a remote server, right? So with Jinteki, the thing with this identity is that the runner doesn't have to make a successful run on a central server. So what a lot of runners do is they run on a central server until they find like an empty run ice. They bounce off the empty run ice, make an unsuccessful run on a central server, and then go after your remotes, and those remotes usually give you the money. So with successful demonstration, you kind of exploit this kind of bounce mechanic where the runner thinks, oh, I'm going to be clever about this, I'm going to bounce off the central server, but then you go like, whoop, that was an unsuccessful run, so I'm going to get some money out of this. Another good reason for using it in Jinteki is that you also have this like Nisei MK2 agenda, which allows you to end the run with a counter that is on it. So if you use the Nisei, then you can also use the successful demonstration. Now, most of the time when you use Nisei is in situations where you're defending an agenda that is about to get scored. So possibly successful demonstrations goes not quite as well with each other, but it's always great if you have to use the Nisei token to stop something like an account siphon or something like a legwork. And then it's like, oh man, I kind of wasted the token. Successful demonstration can make the token kind of worth it a little bit more. Another Jinteki card that is really good with successful demonstration is, of course, our beloved Caprice Nisei here, which is kind of like an upgrade that starts a Psy game, and if the runner loses the Psy game, then the run gets ended. And if you already noticed the keyword here, obviously if the Caprice Nisei ends a run, if she wins, then you can additionally play a successful demonstration afterwards. So again, another Jinteki card that works really well with successful demonstration. And finally, I wanted to talk about something which I really enjoy about successful demonstration, maybe more of a emotional kind of thing about successful demonstration. I think it's really fun to play successful demonstration. It really feels like the runner made an unsuccessful run. Perhaps this was an important run. Perhaps, the runner is like, man, I wish this run would have been successful. I wish this wasn't a toll booth there. And then you play this as a corporation and you kind of like twist the knife there, like, take this, runner. It's worse than you thought. Or even better, than like the runner tries to poke around on your servers, tries to make you spend the money, tries to make you poor by making you resing an ice on archives or something. And you go like, no, I'm gonna res this Eli. And then he goes like, oh, I don't want to click through the Eli, I just wanted to make it res the ice. But then you go like successful demonstration and the runner goes like, no, I wanted you to be poor, but now you're even richer than you were. So yeah, that's really something that's very fun about successful demonstration. If you're playing HB and if you're playing all the other identities I already mentioned, it might be worth checking out successful demonstration. Again, just one influence is not a lot, and you can put 3 of them in your deck very, very easily. It gives you a lot of economy and it creates those very, very fun situations. So I hope you will check it out and you will hack the planet with it.